Well, let's talk about the developments around the Public Protector's preliminary report with Romeo Nthambeleni, and Romeo, as you know, is a legal analyst. Romeo, good evening and welcome. I think we need you. We're going to leave it to you to sort out our admin for us. Where does this, this preliminary report sit in relation to the deep dive that, people like the DA want an ad hoc committee to do? And of course, what we heard from the Section 89 committee, which basically says there is a case that the president can answer.
All right. Thank you. And good evening to you, Iman, and the viewers. And thanks for that question. Indeed, what needs to happen now is to get a final report from the Public Protector. And then upon the finalization of the report of the Public Protector, then other processes can commence in relation to what you were referring to, to the DA, in bringing back, trying to bring back the matter procedurally in terms of the rules of Parliament to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee to actually entertain it. We have one challenge there, Iman, that if the President still intends to bring a review of the Section 89 panel report at the High Court, then the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee cannot entertain the matters that are before court. The courts have to actually deal with the matter and bring finality to the matter before it is entertained in the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, man.
So this is so interesting because what it would suggest, Romeo, is that the president's got to plan his next move really well so that he allows this process to be the final process in relation to Phala Phala. But it cannot be because there's still a question to answer on the Section 89 finding.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're quite correct. The move will quite be important by the president because it determines how the matter will ultimately be resolved, and that will happen immediately after the final report has been finalized by the Public Protector. Then we'll see whether the president approaches the High Court to deal with the findings of the Section 89 panel report, and then once that is done and we have got a finding from the court, then the parliamentary process can commence, depending on whether, on the findings, whether there will be no party that will be seeking an appeal to the higher courts relating to the findings which the court might have found. For instance, if the president is exonerated and then other parties who are interested parties in the matter who have brought the matter before court bring appeals, then it means that the appeals must be heard by either the full bench of the High Court or the Supreme Court of Appeal. Thereafter, we move to the Concord, then we can be able to say that there's been finality, as the Concord is the apex court in our land.
So, Romeo, it would suggest then that this is only one, and we will term it a victory. Obviously, we have to see the final report and we read it together with SARS as a victory for the president. Only 2 stops in a multi-stage legal and clarification journey.
Yes, absolutely. Well, now I think what is important here, Iman, is to also deal with the issues of, judging the president through the court of public opinion. That is an important factor that one has to actually look at, because when the Public Protector made findings, she based it on evidence and the investigations that she has conducted. So after that, then she prepares a report, which is a preliminary report that we're actually discussing, and the final report comes. And then without an iota of evidence, no one can come and say that the Public Protector's report does not have substance. That can be done by a court that evaluate the evidence and set it aside. Besides that, the Public Protector has done the work that he was expected to do in terms of the mandate that she has in terms of the Public Protector Act. I think that is important as well.
Which and what you're saying now then, pushes against the DA's position on the work that she has done in this report.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't put the cart before the horse. What investigations were conducted to actually make a determination to find the president guilty, and without even the considerations of the report that has still to be interrogated, they make a concession themselves that they made a statement without even reading the contents of the report and how the Public Protector arrives at the conclusions that she has actually arrived at. So without making that proper investigation and determination, you cannot be able to make that particular call. And then when that call is made, the court also is the ultimate arbiter to make a determination whether the contents of the report hold water or they don't hold water at all. And then any party who is in court proceedings has the right to actually appeal. And that is how the process goes. But as far as I'm concerned, the public protector has crossed their T's and dotted their I's before this report is released. And we will wait for the final report, which I don't think that there will be much different between what is before us currently.
Yeah. Romeo, I'm going to try and be clever, but I know I'm going to fail dismally. In a similar way that you have America's Curiae, which is, people who are the friend of the court, I'm going to invite you to be the America's, for the public in a way, and just, coherently make sense in about 60 seconds, if you can, of the timeline of what we can expect now. So there's multiple things at play with Phala Phala, and let's simplify it for the public. What comes next, and how is this process likely to unfold in terms of a timeline?
Thank you, Iman. A final report has to be submitted by the public protector, and then when that final report is submitted by the public protector, if there's any party that is aggrieved by that report, they can bring it to court to get it reviewed and set aside. And then if that is done, then it will depend how the president will react to that report. And in the same manner, the president is entitled to bring a review of the Section 89 panel report before any court. And then if that report is set aside, as you have said, it sounds like it's a third victory for the president in relation to the report. And then the ultimate thing will be whether the determination of the public protector report stands. And if it stands before the court, that is the end of the matter.
Romeo Nthambeleni, thank you very much for being a friend of the program and simplifying things and sharing your observations with us. We appreciate your time. Romeo Nthambeleni is our legal analyst tonight.